right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Chaos and consequences on campus.
If you do not leave, you will be arrested now.
Tonight, the fallout from dozens of arrests from pro-Palestinian protests at Washington University.
I don't regret this at all. I would do it again, and I will continue to protest.
The Constitution doesn't necessarily apply to the private schools.
Tonight, the university and Jewish students respond.
I think that when people say things like from the river to the sea, they don't understand that they're calling for the mass extermination of the Jewish people.
More on that in a moment. First, we are in a weather alert tonight as a line of storms moves towards the St. Louis region. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. It appears the severe weather threat has diminished. However, you will still want to stay weather aware overnight. Meteorologist Gary Frank is tracking the timing and the intensity of the storms in the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, good evening. And as opposed to 24 hours ago, we talked about tornado watch 24 hours ago and the possibility of severe weather today. That's diminishing overnight, as you mentioned, but overall, we're still going to see the possibility for some strong rain and strong storms. I mean, there's some pretty good rain here, over an inch per hour rainfall rates in some cases. And watch, just as I loop this for the last 5 hours, watch where this rain is moving along the edge of this front over the same location. And that is why it's moving so slow. And as it does so, it will continue to add 1 to 2 inches of rain at the very least. And that's an area that we'll highlight for the potential for some minor flooding. It's starting to work its way into Gasconade County and Pike County, and you'll notice that it's trending here. And this is a little different from last night where it eventually moved to the north. The whole front is finally settling in, and that's going to give us an opportunity for rain. Now, the severe threat has diminished, so I know a lot of people going to bed or getting ready to go to bed and saying, hey, am I going to worry about storms overnight? Storms may wake you up in terms of 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts with some locally heavy rain, but I think our severe threat is not only winding down, it's almost zero, but we'll get to that point here shortly. The rest of the next several hours, mainly for the next 4 to 5 hours, that's where I want you to be at least prepared for that rain. By tomorrow morning, a little bit less. We'll track that, also talk about some of the amounts that we're expecting here overnight.
And you can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime on the 5 on Your Side app, on KSDK.com, and streaming on 5+. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and we'll send it straight to your phone.
Hold the line now, hold the line. Hold the line now, hold the line. Hold the line for Palestine.
All out tonight following the arrest of nearly 100 people during last night's pro-Palestinian protests at Washington University. That includes nearly 24 WashU students. Tonight, some of those students tell us they've been suspended and have been told to get off campus. We have team coverage tonight. We start with Annie Kroll, who's live on campus, and his reaction from those arrested, including a candidate for president. Annie.
Tonight, Dr. Jill Stein, a Green Party candidate for president, is in Columbia, Missouri at a protest. But last night she was here at WashU, taken away in handcuffs after being charged with assault. I was the first news reporter who spoke with her after she was released from jail less than 10 minutes after that release, and that was at 2 o'clock this morning. Footage of presidential candidate Jill Stein getting arrested going viral on social media, then taken to St. Louis County Jail.
I was going through a medical exam. I had, regular steel handcuffs put on and sat a long time sitting alone in a cell. And I had no idea, did anybody even know I was there? I had been separated from my team. Was I going to be there all night? Was I going to be there for a week? What's going on and when could I call my lawyer? So I was just completely led through this process, completely blind.
Luke Adams, a Webster University senior, was one of the nearly 100 people arrested at the WashU encampment.
So what we did was we locked arms and we were chanting, hold the line, hold the line, hold the line for Palestine as long as we could. Eventually, whenever I saw cops with a bike break through, and I saw that they had broken through it, I was like, oh no, we need to seal this back up, we need to close this off.
I think the students are doing a heroic and courageous job of posing these issues and this challenge to our universities and really to our whole society.
WashU students and local supporters making signs Sunday and talking about the consequences of the night before. As some of their friends who were arrested were told by WashU, they have been banned from campus.
What that specifically means for students is a temporary suspension, and also if you live on campus, you must get your stuff off campus. So he's not my only friend who has had to try to figure out where they're putting all their stuff by 8 p.m.
Some Jewish students at WashU feel physically safe. However, seeing the encampment on the main lawn of their campus is unsettling.
Signs calling for the mass murder of Jews, whether or not they're aware of it, was like, there's not a word. If there was a word stronger than terrifying, I would use it.
As pro-Palestinian demonstrations potentially continue here in St. Louis and across the country, students and staff at WashU's Hillel tell me they will keep their doors open for any students who may need to talk or require more support this summer and even this fall. Reporting live at WashU, Annie Crawl, 5 on your side.
Tonight, the Anti-Defamation League is also responding to the protests seen at WashU and at college campuses across the country. They say the calls from protests for an intifada is reference to 2 Palestinian uprisings that led to terrorist attacks against Jews in Israel. They also denounced the chant from the river to the sea.
Between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea is the state of Israel. And so the idea that a aspirational Palestinian state would somehow subsume the state of Israel or displace the Jews who live there is anti-Semitic.
The ADL adds they're confident in the safety of Jews in St. Louis, especially on the campus of Washington University. St. Louis city officials who were on campus last night are criticizing the police response. Laura Barchesi continues our team coverage with that and reaction from the university, which says it had the right to take action. Laura.
Mike, St. Louis alderpersons say the use of force by Washington University police during this demonstration was excessive, but the university says the protesters violated their policies and they had no choice but to enforce them.
This is how the pro-Palestinian protests started on Saturday as they marched toward the Washington University campus. Once they entered campus grounds, that's where our cameras stopped. St. Louis Board of Aldermen President Megan Green shared this picture on Twitter of the large group in the middle of campus, saying it was a very calm atmosphere.
A lot of trying to get to know each other while also making it clear that they were there, ask WashU to divest from sending money to Israel or companies that do business with Israel.
But in a matter of seconds, she says it turned into this.
There is no time limit.
And University Police, along with St. Louis County Police, started arresting people. A total of 100 were taken to the St. Louis County Jail. WashU says 3 of those officers were injured.
And I think the use of police in general was excessive.
Alderwoman Alicia Sanier says the way the university handled this was terrible.
Regardless of how you feel about this issue, we should all have the right to use our voices in a peaceful manner.
Washington University responded with a lengthy statement saying in part it quickly became clear through the words and actions of this group that they did not have good intentions on our campus and that this demonstration had the potential to get out of control and become dangerous. When the group began to set up a camp in violation of university policy, we made the decision to tell everyone present that they needed to leave. St. Louis attorney Scott Rosenblum says because they are a private institution, they can limit what happens on campus.
I certainly think they were within their rights to arrest disruptive students and people that were crossing the line. And certainly there's probably a number of individuals there that are not students.
The campus rabbi Jordan Gerson says he applauds the university for their quick actions on what he called an anti-Jewish rally.
I think they handled the situation extremely well and put the safety of all WashU students first.
WashU declined interviews today, but say they're committed to free expression and allow opportunities for that, but expect everyone to respect their policies, which they will continue to enforce to the fullest extent.
This same scene has been playing out on college campuses across the country. And like WashU, many protesters are calling for their schools to divest from companies like Boeing, which supplies weapons. Tonight, Portland State University announced it's listening to its students and will sever ties with the aerospace giant. Boeing has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the school. President Joe Biden spoke on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. The White House says the president continues to reaffirm his ironclad commitment to Israel's security. The two also discussed talks to release hostages, an immediate ceasefire, and humanitarian aid into Gaza. New video tonight shows the moment a car crashed into Gus's pretzel shop in South St. Louis. The crash last night left a gaping hole in the corner of the building. Police have not released information on the driver. The owner tells 5 on Your Side that part of the building is used for storage, so he's hoping to stay in production while repairs are made. He's still waiting on the city inspector. Crews were out today to shore up the building. Gus's is closed on Sunday and Mondays. They hope to reopen as normal on Tuesday. Tonight, the front window of the High Point Drive-In on McCausland is boarded up. Thieves broke in overnight. The frustrated owners say those crooks left empty-handed, but this is the second time their businesses have been hit this month. Just last week, a similar smash and grab happened at their new hot pizza cold beer restaurant downtown.
Healing hearts. He was a lung transplant survivor, guiding her through her own life-saving operation.
I just felt like I finally could relate to somebody and felt understood and less isolated.
How medicine led to marriage and a bond to help others.
As this line of storms continues to push through the area, we'll track more of that for tomorrow when we'll get a little bit cooler and when we're close to 90 degrees again this week.
We are profiling 3 really first-class college athletes in the area on Sports Plus. Isaiah Williams, Illinois, Robbie Avila, St. Louis University, and the most important player for the Mizzou football Tigers, Brady Cook, as they try to have back-to-back brilliant seasons. Brady had a really good year after having to endure the wrath of some fickle fans.
I felt the heat. I know we've talked about that. And it was tough, but I'm glad it happened. It's part of my story, and it was a part of my journey. So.
And on Frankly Speaking, how in the world did Brady's teammate and roommate, Cody Schrader, not get drafted? See you in 20 minutes for Sports Plus.